Has autism been separated by our lawmakers or allowed by them to be considered a separate entity from other special needs groups, developmental disability groups?
Well, I know a number of lawmakers last session, whenever the insurance compact, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with that bill, but they created a bill to require insurance companies to cover certain therapies and so forth for individuals with autism. And the big debate, the Senate had a bill that applied only to autism. The members of the House wanted to expand that concept to all people who have developmental disabilities. That was a debate. The Senate, just the way this happened, the very last thing the Senate did last session is they passed their version of that bill that limited that coverage to people with autism. They sent it to the House and they adjourned. So the House was either going to take that bill or they weren't going to take anything. Now, one of the movers and shakers in the House back then, Representative Gardner from Orlando, he's now Senator Gardner. And he is still very interested in seeing that insurance coverage be extended to all of the developmental disability groups. So at the end of the day, those are policy decisions made by legislators. Of course, if we had our druthers, we would, we're advocating for all of the individuals that we serve, and autism is just one subset of that. But you're getting into some pretty heavy-duty policy things that the legislature's having to deal with, and where that's going to take us this year, I don't know. But I think over time, you're going to see, as Senator Gardner continues to work this issue. Let me just say this: that focus on autism, it was not because people didn't try to increase the scope of that. I believe that at the end of the day, though, it was felt that getting this for some of the people was better than just totally losing it for everyone. So really, time's going to tell where that takes us in the whole policy-making process.
What is the current status or possible cuts in the CDC Plus program?
At this point in time, the only reductions that a person in CDC should experience would be those reductions that would come about just because of other things that are in the budget. There is the elimination of behavior assistance and group home. That's, of the $5 million that I mentioned, that's $3 million of that. Probably not going to affect anybody in CDC. Other things that were in there: elimination of medication review, the elimination of the behavioral therapy assessments. I don't really think you're going to see very much that is in either the House or Senate bill that's going to affect the CDC budgets.
What is the vision for the reduction of consumers on the wait list?
In terms of, I'm sorry, read that again.
What is the vision for the reduction of consumers on the wait list?
Well, there's 18,000 people on the wait list, and 31,000 people that we serve on the waiver. And of course, those 18,000 go to work, they pay their taxes. There's nothing that, they're citizens just like the people that we serve. I mean, that's a big issue for me, because I want to see us start to address that wait list. We do have at least a start towards that this session. The governor recommended, and both the House and Senate have picked up language that says any savings that we can achieve from the planned expansion of Consumer-Directed Care Plus, any savings we see, we can put back towards serving the wait list. And the reason we're at this point, and this is very notable, is in the past, everything that the legislature passed that saved money, they either cut our budget and took the money, or it was designed to balance this deficit. Because, as I told you, in this state, we can't run a deficit. That's unconstitutional. And what we were doing in reality, as we were getting towards the end of the year, we were having to shift some costs into the following year. We can't spend money we don't have, unlike the feds. So I believe it's going to be a combination of working a little bit smarter. And I think it's going to be a combination of continuing to go down and advocate for the needs of the people in the wait list. I don't think you can serve 18,000 people through just being a little bit more efficient. I think we can serve some of that wait list through things that we can do to make the system more efficient and to save dollars. There is a bill, and this is actually something I probably should have covered. There is a proposal in the Senate right now to break our waiting list up into 5 categories of priority. And what they're trying to do here is to identify those people who are most likely to be in most urgent need of services now, so that their needs are addressed first. What that bill calls for is basically a breakdown of our wait list into 5 categories. The first category, and they go in order of priority. The first priority, as it is today, would be people in crisis. The second category, as it is today, are children in the foster care system. In other words, victims of abuse and neglect who have been taken from their homes and placed with a foster care family. In essence, they become our children. Our meaning the state of Florida's children. The third category are adults, primarily, but people who have an aging caregiver, who have a caregiver that maybe has had some catastrophic incident in their life that renders them unable to provide the same level of assistance, medical event or something like that. And there's a list of fairly specific criteria there. I won't go over all of it. You can actually pull the bill if you have access to the internet. You can actually pull their bill and you can see what's there. The fourth list are the other adults, primarily. Then the fifth priority are children, are most of the children who are on the list because they want to secure their place in line. But that for right now, a lot of most, if not all, of their service needs can be accommodated through the IDEA, through the school system, or through EPSDT provisions of Medicaid. EPSDT stands for Early Periodic Diagnosis, Screening, and Treatment. And EPSDT, and what it basically does, it says that if it is a therapeutic service that a child needs, whether it's normally offered in your state plan or not, your state Medicaid plan or not, the state provides it. So it allows children access to services that aren't formally authorized in the state plan. So that's true. So the issue is there are a lot more different places where there are resources for children than there are adults. So that's the logic of that. That language is making its way through. The House hasn't picked it up. It'll be brought up during conference because the senators are very, very interested in seeing us refine our focus and narrow our focus in terms of this wait list of those people who are in most urgent need.
What efforts are being made to help with mental health needs for our duly diagnosed, especially the crisis stabilization?
Well, I'm trying to think other than just, we are trying our best to coordinate what we do with resources outside the agency. I mean, we're working with, obviously the local support coordinators should be aware of what resources are out there for mental health issues. And again, this is an issue where proper coordination can make all the difference in the world as to whether a person accesses resources.